Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and welcome back to another episode of Spoiler Sundays. So this is the time of the week where I go over all of the new cards that we got shown, and we got shown a lot of new and exciting cards, not only in just a couple of more promos and some more promotional material, but in the form of new starter deck spoilers for the upcoming Japanese starter decks of Imperial Dramon and Mastemon. So those decks are looking very, very powerful, but first let's start off with the promos. So this time we're getting another version of Gamamon. So we already had one promo version of Gamamon, and now we're getting, well, another one, all to probably support the fact that Ghost Games is just airing in Japan, and it's already looking to be a very interesting show. But regardless, what this card is doing is it's a red level 3, stats aren't anything too interesting, hard plays for 3, evos for 0, 3000 DP, and it has a nice inheritable skill where during your turn, while you have a hero in play, then this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. So this is probably in preparation for his evolution forms that we're eventually going to be getting in the game. Same thing with the Tamer, we're eventually going to get the Tamer in the game, so this card is a good card to interact with those whenever we get them and whatever they'll be doing. And then the other promo to talk about is going to be another version of Gamamon. So this marks the third promo Gamamon that we've seen recently, and, well, I'm really excited to see what they have in store for this Digimon and Ghost Games Digimon as a whole. But regardless, I can't exactly tell you what this Gamamon is doing because the image is a little bit too small and the text is a little bit too blurry to actually make out any translation. But I do know this is another new version of Gamamon because if we take a look at the other two versions of Gamamon, the stats are completely different and the abilities are also not aligned. So we saw the first promo Gamamon have a native ability to attack into the opponent's active Digimon. We saw just recently the other promo Gamamon that has a nice inheritable ability of DP boosting while his Tamer is in play. And we have this Gamamon which has both an inheritable and a native ability and different stats. And it looks like this is going to be a pack-in with a new deck box, and I do like the look of the deck box. And it looks like the deck box is also going to be coming with some other promos. From what I can gather, this isn't 100% confirmed, but I'm guessing it's going to be the starter deck 1 version of Agumon, where it just generically DP boosts by 1000. We're also going to be getting a alternate version of BTO1 Wargreymon, where he has the ability to give himself an extra security tech when you digivolve into him, and the extra ability to ensure that options aren't going to be checking in security when he's attacking the security. And then I'm also guessing that last card is going to be starter deck 1 Greymon, which just generically gives security tech plus as an inheritable skill. So this is looking to be a pretty good product just based off of these 4 promos alone, and I'm excited to see what this Gamamon is actually going to be doing. But with all of those new promos aside, onto the meat and potatoes of the video, we have new starter deck cards to be talking about. So first up, starting with the Imperial Dramon stuff, we have Minomon. So Minomon is going to act as the Digitama for the Imperial deck, and he's just a very generically good Digitama to be using for Imperial Dramon because he has this nice inheritable skill where during your turn, while you have a blue Digimon in play, then this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. So it is just stereotypically DP boosting your Digimon, which could be a good thing, all depending on the rest of Imperial Dramon's support and what cards for Imperial Dramon you want to be playing with, just because he does have a couple of different ways that you could actually start thinking about building the deck with all of the Imperial Dramon tools that we currently have, both from BT03 and the Classic Collection. But obviously this Digitama and the deck is more focused on playing around with the fact that you're going to be using 2 colors, so it only makes sense for this Digitama to have this type of ability. Next, we have a new version of Veemon. So this Veemon is pretty good because he is bridging the gap between the colors because he could digivolve off of either a blue egg or a green egg. So this means outside of the deck, you could start mixing, matching, and customizing the deck to your liking, all depending on what egg you want to be running to best support what Imperial Dramon you're going to be running. And because we do have lots of different Imperial Dramon tools to be playing with, this Veemon is just really good because this is also going to be acting as the deck's digging or searching tool. So what this VMon does is he has this nice on-play ability. You get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and then add 1 Digimon with free in its type among them into your hand, and then the rest go to the bottom. So a lot of the Imperial Dramon stuff is free type, so he just can basically dig for almost any of your pieces when he's played, and Blue has very easy ways of just wanting to hard play their cards and being able to play their cards for free from inheritable sources if you're choosing to go that direction. But regardless, this VMon is just a very solid card because it is just a consistency tool for the deck to be using. Next up, we have Betamon. So this new version of Betamon is a skillless or vanilla card. He really isn't doing anything outside of the fact that he has some extra playability because he's also acting as another transition card to bridge the gap between the colors, allowing you to transition and play the colors however you feel like you want to. So what this card is doing is he has the evolution requirements to Digivolve off of a blue egg or a green egg, similar to what we saw with the VMon before, so you really can start mixing, matching, and customizing the deck to your liking based on the types of tools that you want to be using, because again, Imperial Dramon did get a decent amount of tools, not only in this starter deck, but in Classic Collection and in BT03 when he was initially released as well, to really support the fact that they want you to have a 2-color deck, and having a card like this just helps you play 2 colors even easier than before, almost like it's not even 2 colors at all. Next up, we have a new version of XVmon. So this version of XVmon, like the one in Classic Collection, can also digivolve off of blue or green, thus further closing the gap between the 2 colors, making it even less and less relevant that you're even playing 2 colors at all. So this is just another really good card to help with the overall consistency of evolution for the deck. And on top of that, he has 2 really solid abilities of his own, one native to him and one as an inheritable. So his ability native to him is when this Digimon would be played from your hand, if you have a green Digimon in play, then the play cost of this card is reduced by 1. So this is basically a level 4 that could be hard played for 3 instead of 4 if you have a green Digimon on your field, which just allows you to Jagras even easier, because at Jagras you need to have both Digimon on the field. So obviously the intended synergy is you're just going to have a Stigmon on your field, so that way you could hard play XVmon to then easy Jagras into Paildramon. So that's like the whole intended synergy there, and he also has a nice inheritable skill of when attacking, if you have a green Digimon in play, then this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP for the turn. So with the new Imperial, we already know that it's going to be both colors, so he does count as a green Digimon, so he's just going to grant that Imperial plus 1000 DP, but you could use this in combination with the green Imperial that we saw all the way back in BT03 to give a plus 1000 DP this way, and it doesn't even have to be just the Imperial Dramon that he's underneath. It's literally just as long as you have a green Digimon in play. So all of those elements combined just make this card a very appealing card to be playing more so if you want to use the Jagras evolutions, which the Jagras evolutions are very, very good. So I wouldn't see any reason not to run this card if you're going that direction. And then the last card that we got spoiled from the Imperial starter deck is going to be Imperial Dramon himself. So this version of Imperial Dramon, we already knew he was going to be counting as both colors, so he is a blue and a green Digimon simultaneously. So any color-based abilities he meets both of the requirements for the deck, because we're only going to be playing in blue and green, and he's simultaneously both, on top of the fact that he, like all of the other Imperials, can digivolve off of blue and green, so he's just very, very good because we could use a whole bunch of cards in combination with him to build him in some very unique and interesting ways. And then on top of all of that, he has a really good when digivolving ability. So his when digivolving ability is you get to play 1 blue and 1 green level 4 or lower Digimon from his inheritable sources for free. So this is just really powerful because it's creating a very wide board presence, because if you're using the Jagras mechanic, or even if you're just casually digivolving, you have the ability now to play both blue and green rather consistently, and find good and solid ways to evo all the way up into Imperial Dramon. So the fact that you could basically spawn 2 Digimon off of his when digivolving ability is already very powerful, considering we have lots of different ways and lots of different Digimon to use the cards after they're split. split. So obviously the intended synergy that he wants to be playing around with for the deck is that you're going to Digivolve into Stingmon in Raising, move Stingmon out, hard play the XVmon we just saw, and then Jagras into either Dino Beamon or Pyildramon, and then after that, then we Digivolve into Imperialdramon to end the turn, and we use Imperialdramon to split apart the Stingmon and XVmon, so that way we could then use them for another Jagras the following turn, or we could create some very powerful synergy and create new stacks using them the following turn as well. So he's just creating lots of board presence. And even if we can't hit a level 4, even if we do just split apart some level 3s, we have some really good level 3s that we could take advantage of with the new Vmon having a nice on playability. So there's just a lot that you could do with this card and a lot of synergy that the deck has with this card, making him just a very solid card to be using. I don't know in the grand scheme of things compared to all of the other Imperialdramons if this is going to be the best one to run, but he's looking to be a very good option at the very least for a lot of people wanting to pick up and get into Imperialdramon. Now, shifting gears over to the Mastamon deck, we have a new Digitama of Nyaramon. This time Nyaramon is purple, and it has the nice inheritable skill of when attacking, if we have a yellow Digimon in play, then we get to draw one card, and if we do, then we get to discard one card. So this is just another consistency tool for the deck to be using, because drawing and discarding is something purple already wants to be doing. We've seen it so many times where we're just going to be rewarded for discarding, setting up our trash, while digging and getting through our deck with the draw ability. So I think this Nyaramon is a really solid Digitama to be using for Mastamon more specifically, because obviously we have to have a yellow Digimon in play, but we have the ability to play lots of yellow Digimon in various different ways with the deck, making Nyaramon a very solid Digitama to be using. So one of those ways that we could actually utilize yellow Digimon more efficiently than we did before is with cards like Lopmon here. So this Lopmon is acting like the Betamon that we saw earlier, where it is a skillless vanilla card that just has the ability to Digivolve off of either a yellow egg or a purple egg. So if you use this in combination with Nyaramon, then you're going to be swinging, and this Lopmon will trigger the Nyaramon's ability, allowing you to use all of the synergies yourself without much effort at all. So even though this Lopmon doesn't really have any abilities, just the fact that it could evo off of any of our eggs make it a very appealing card for the deck to be using, allowing us to bridge the gap between the colors as easily and efficiently as we possibly can. Next, we have a new version of Salamon. So this new version of Salamon, like the Lopmon before, also has the evolution requirements where you could Digivolve off of either yellow or purple eggs. So colors are slowly becoming irrelevant because we have so many different ways to evo and transition from one color to the next, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. But I digress, and this Lopmon is actually really good for the deck because she has this nice inheritable skill, which we kind of saw in the Gatomon back in some previous spoilers, where its inheritable skill triggers at the end of your turn. You could Jagras or DNA Digivolve this Digimon and your other Digimon into a Digimon from your hand by paying its Jagras cost. So its Jagras cost is literally just taking the two Digimon required on the field and then putting it underneath and Digivolving it into that Digimon for free. So the fact that we could just end our turn using this ability to get into our Mega really fast and really efficiently is very, very powerful. We see with the Imperialdramon stuff, he kind of doesn't need this type of ability because we already have the availability to just Jagras on our level 5s. So that way we basically Digivolve into our level 5 for free, allowing us to go into a fast 6, and yellow, purple, or Mastamon doesn't really have that ability, so this is kind of shoring up that one weakness to put it on par with what Imperialdramon is doing. So I think this is a very powerful ability to be playing around with, and I think that the consistency in having this ability helps with the deck's overall playability. Next, we have a new version of Lady Devimon. So Lady Devimon does have the Digivolution requirements where she could Digivolve off of purple or yellow, so she's acting as another transition card to just bridge the gap between the colors that way. Otherwise, without it, the deck would be a little bit harder to play. But what she's doing is she has two very powerful abilities of her own. She has a native when Digivolving ability and an inheritable ability. So her when digivolving ability states that we get to discard 1 card from our hand to reveal the top 3 cards of our deck. Then we get to add 1 yellow or purple angel, archangel, or fallen angel in its types among them into our hand, and then the rest go to the bottom. So this when digivolving ability is acting as a consistency tool that is also helping fill up your trash, because that's just something purple wants. And then on top of that, she has this nice inheritable ability where during your turn, all of your yellow Digimon gain the retaliation ability. So this is just another really powerful inheritable skill, because we do have the availability and the accessibility to play a whole bunch of different yellow Digimon because of all of the different transition points we have in the deck to merge the colors together. So I think this is a very strong card, and it looks like the intended synergy that the deck wants you to play with is basically building up a stack to digivolve into Lady Devimon, and then hard play your yellow Digimon, so that way you could use either Gatomon or Salamon's ability to just Jagras at the end of the turn, so that way you could end your turn on a level 6 Digimon. So that's looking to be very, very powerful for the deck, and this card just helps set up that line of play on top of the other abilities that Mastemon wants to be playing around with. And then the last card that's spoiled for this past week, and the card that wants to hard play us for that line of play and intended synergy that I mentioned before, is going to be Angemon. So Angemon does have the ability to digivolve off of purple or yellow, so in case we do need to digivolve her, we have that available to us as well. But like I said before, it seems like the intended synergy is that she wants us to end the turn by hard playing her, with her on-play ability being we get to give the opponent's Digimon security attack -2 until the end of the opponent's next turn. So this is really powerful of an effect to be playing around with because we get to essentially try to reduce or take away the opponent's availability to aggress onto us. So that's already really good, while her just being the card we want to hard play to end our turn to Jagras into Mastemon with. And then she also has another really powerful inheritable skill, where during your turn, while you have a purple Digimon in play, this Digimon gains security attack +1, allowing Mastemon to hit even harder than she could before. And this is really good because it also works with the old Mastemon, so that way the old Mastemon also could gain security attack plus. So I think that this Angemon is a very strong card for the deck to be playing around with. So based on all of these spoilers, these starter decks are looking to be very, very strong, and we have lots of different ways that we could build both Mastemon and Imperial, now that we have even more tools added to their toolbox, and they already had some pretty decent tools to be playing around with before for either of their colors, and now that that line is slowly starting to blur, we could really start to customize the deck to really be whatever you want it to be, and use whatever tools you feel like you want to be using, because it's very easy to play 2 colors in these decks. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are a couple of different ways you could support me and the channel. So I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so when you use that link to buy cards off of TCG Player, then some of that money will go to supporting me and the channel. I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook, so when you buy a playmat with my design, then some of that money will also go to help supporting me and the channel. And on top of all of that, I do have a Twitch account over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, so giving me a follow and a subscription also helps support me there, and I do play Digimon on top of various other games on that platform as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.